Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you some general information about the course as well as some policies for this semester. So one thing to discuss first of all is the name of the course, Math 122L. I wanted to point out that this semester we're actually combining all Calc 2 courses into one single one. Traditionally we would have 122L offered for students who are coming into Duke with credit for Calc 1, and then we would concurrently offer 112L, which would be for students coming up from a Calc 1 course within Duke, whether this is Math 111L or 105 and 106L. Because of the move online, it was just easier for us to kind of change things up and condense both of those into one class. But I do want to point out that you should disregard the name. Just because it's called 122L does not mean that it's going to look like 122L in a typical semester. To be honest, there were 7 sections of 122 and 2 sections of 112, so we just chose the name 122L. So this course is actually going to look different from either of those 2 courses, not just because it's online. The length of the semester is a little bit shorter, and the way we're going to deliver the material is also going to be different. One thing in particular is that we're going to be starting off with a review of Calc 1, which is going to take about 3 weeks. So I think that will hopefully be useful for everyone and kind of smooth the transition into the course. We're not going to just jump into Calc 2 material. The expected background of people in this course, we expect that you have taken Calc 1 in some variation. So like I said, for some people, that will be that you've taken it at Duke. For other people, that will look like maybe AP Calculus AB, maybe you took the IB course, or maybe you took Calc 1 at a local college. So the way in which people have been taught Calc 1 is going to be varied, presumably. And so we're going to spend some time kind of making sure that we're on the same footing with that by reviewing in the beginning, and then we'll together start the Calc 2 material. There is no expectation whatsoever that you have ever seen Calc 2 before. So you might find that some of your peers have, but that is not expected. So this is expected to be brand new information. One thing that traditionally I think makes this course, but other ones at Duke, difficult for students is that we really do focus on why things are true. If you've already done that, then that's not going to be very much of a tough transition. But we don't want to just have formulas and memorize those. We are going to kind of push you to be able to explain why things are true. And as a result, the burden is on us to do that with our lectures, to make sure that we're going to explain to you why these things are true. Talking about the course structure, what I have here on my screen is the course information sheet, or at least the version of it as I speak. A couple things, I've put the instructional staff up there. I'm the course coordinator. I'm going to be preparing the video lectures, but you each have signed up for an individual discussion section. Each has a different instructor. I've put the names here as well as the contact information. And in fact, you'll also have a TA assigned to your particular section, an undergraduate who will be present in all of those as well. Here you'll find the textbook for the course. You do not need to have a hard copy of that. If you end up having an online version, that's completely fine. And I've put here some really important links, and I'm actually going to come back to those in a moment. In particular, you're going to be able to access everything from this top link, including this course information sheet. So with the course components, like I said, I'm going to be preparing video lectures, and those are going to be asynchronous, meaning that you're going to watch those on your own time. There is a schedule that is posted, so you are expected to watch certain videos by the time that you meet for your discussion section on a given topic. That schedule is going to be very clearly laid out on the website. So the synchronous discussions, you are expected to attend those. And that's going to be broken up to, I think there are roughly about 30 students in each of those as we speak. And that's going to be the portion of the course where you're going to have some interaction. And I think that's really important, especially in learning math. So that's why we have those as required class meetings. So a big change is that we are going to be offering this course mandatory, satisfactory, unsatisfactory this semester. That's very much motivated by this shift to online learning and the general addition of stressors for students that are happening. I hope that will be a net positive for the students taking this course. I do want to make sure, though, that doesn't lead to people not being engaged with the material. Sometimes if you don't have a grade, it might feel a little bit harder to get motivated. So I do have things that will be graded and an expectation of achieving a certain level so that you can attain a passing grade. And a lot of this, you're going to see, I want to make sure that by having you turn a lot of things in, you're still going to have to engage with the material. For a lot of you, you're taking this as a requirement for something, whether that's another math class or for your major. So it's going to be very important that you do learn the skills in this course, and I want to do the best that we can to make sure that that's true. So you'll see in the course information sheet that I point out to earn a grade of an S, you're expected to maintain at least a 70% average in each of these 3 categories that I have listed here. To be clear, my hope is that if you work hard, this is going to be very doable. So category 1 is lecture quizzes. So you will watch the videos, and for instance, we have, there are not going to be any content videos for the first day because that's a review. But for your second class meeting, L'Hôpital's role is the topic. I will post lecture videos on L'Hôpital's role. You are expected to watch those before your discussion section on L'Hôpital's role. And in addition, you are expected to complete the lecture quiz on L'Hôpital's role before your discussion section. So it's kind of a check on, did you watch the videos and get kind of a base understanding of the topic? And these are roughly about 10 questions, and I've crafted them in a way that they're either multiple choice or an integer answer so that they can actually be graded right away online. And like I said, you're going to have lots of these. So if you have one where your score is a little low, that's okay. You want to try to keep that average score above a 70%. And I would say the biggest thing there is to make sure you stay on top of those and get those done on time. The second category is problem sets. So every week I'm going to post a problem set that is typically about maybe 5 questions. These are often a little bit harder than the textbook problems, and also they're an opportunity for you to combine knowledge and not just test one specific skill. These, you'll have about a week to complete these. They will cover the previous week's material. And I should have mentioned for the lecture quizzes, I do expect you to do those on your own without help. Those are open notes, so you can look that up. But for the problem sets, I really would like for you to seek out help. Working with each other is very much encouraged. I want you to write up your own work for the problem sets, but you can absolutely work in a group. And in particular, what has been nice in previous years when I've done this is a lot of people will come to office hours and ask me about these, and I will work through these problems with you. So again, with effort, there should not be a reason for the problem sets to be graded in a low way, because you'll have lots of places that you can ask for help. Again, the earlier you start those, the easier it is going to be to complete those and get help. And the final subset here is discussion worksheets. Each discussion section, you're going to notice that I've crafted a worksheet that you can access on my website. The beginning of that worksheet will be typically led by the instructor, maybe working through some specific examples that are a little bit more advanced than were in the videos, or giving some more instruction. But then there will be a portion that says exercises, and that will always be the point at which you're broken up into small groups, and you're expected to work in those groups to complete roughly, say, 5 exercises. The instructor and the TA, and sometimes myself when I'm visiting, will circulate throughout the different rooms to help and answer questions you may have. These won't be due right after discussion. You'll have a little bit of time to finish anything that you didn't, but you're expected to hand these in one per group. And so it is going to be very important that you attend so that you, in fact, have a group. You cannot hand these in individually. And note that I've pointed out here, if you have an excused absence, then we will work with you so that you don't get a 0 for the day's work. There will be some makeup work for that. But in general, again, these are things that you can ask for help, and part of the discussion is focused on you completing these and getting that help. It's probably common that you will not quite finish what's expected while in class, so this will require a little bit of outside of class time to complete. Your particular instructor will always make it clear when those are due, because again, that will depend on when your discussion takes place. The problem sets, there will be one deadline for everyone, and those are going to be released for everyone at the same time, but the lecture quizzes and the discussion worksheets will be due kind of based on when your own discussion section meets. So those are the only graded components. We won't have any exams. Consequently, we don't have a final exam, so the last day of class will be pretty much what's listed on our schedule. You'll also notice that I have homework on the schedule that I'll go to in a moment. There are textbook problems listed for each day. Those are not going to be collected unless somehow one of them makes their way onto a problem set. Those are problems that you're expected to do in order to stay on top of the work in the class. Those are going to help you to understand the material. Doing those first should make doing the problem sets easier, and it's also going to help you to learn things that are going to come along later in the course. So it's very important that you do those even though those aren't collected, and to really, again, try to stay on top of that material. Okay, going back up to the links here. Like I said, the main one is the course website here. I actually have it open on another tab. This is a work in progress, so this will likely change by the time you watch this video and actually open it yourself. Right now I have a link to the course info sheet. That's what we just looked at. I previously alluded to the homework syllabus. Notice that I have two, and these are identical except for the dates. Some of you meet on Monday, Wednesday, and some of you meet on Tuesday, Thursday. But I put in here the topic that will be covered in each discussion section. That should help you figure out then what videos you need to watch before that discussion, and also what the name of the lecture quiz will be that's due before that discussion. Here are the textbook problems I alluded to. There are three topics that do not have an associated textbook section. So you see that I made up some homework problems that you can access by clicking on them in this actual PDF. And generally, you'll be able to see what we're going to cover each day. There are also a few topics where the discussion is a little bit more review-based, integration practice, and so on. You'll note that you don't have any textbook problems for those, so there just wouldn't be extra homework those days. So I'll likely add some more kind of general information links here. And then what I'm still filling in is a very detailed schedule. Much of this mirrors what I just had in the homework syllabus, but it's organized in a way that's a little bit more interactive. Right now, I have already posted an introduction video, which is me introducing myself to you all. I will add this video here as well. And the idea is that these are the videos that you're expected to watch before the first discussion section. I've also placed the associated textbook problem for that discussion section. You'll see here that I have the discussion section worksheet for the very first day. You're not expected to open that until you are actually in discussion, but it's there. And in general, I'll also include things about lecture quizzes. You do not have a lecture quiz for the very first discussion meeting. The first one will happen on week 1, day 2. I have not posted it yet, but it will show up there. And so I'm going to add some videos, and this will start to be a place where you can find the day and then quickly kind of check off the things that you need to do in order to be prepared for that discussion section day. And I'm going to have these organized and filled out, and as I go along and make more videos, you'll see that these will become more detailed. The other thing I'm going to put on here are some of the links that also are listed over here. One of the ones I wanted to point out is Piazza. I will very soon add all of you to Piazza, and then that will generate an email that you will get where you'll have to activate your account. I ask that you use your first and last name. There are a lot of people that have the same first name in this course. And the primary use I see for this is the question and answer section here. It might look a little different for the student view, but in general, I expect it to look like this. I've used this a lot in big courses in the past, and it really depends on the students. But if the students take advantage of it, it can be really, really useful. So in general, you can post, I can add a new post, you can title it, Maybe you can title it with the topic of your question, or sometimes you'll see problem set 1, question 3, or somebody will specify kind of where this question is coming from. And then you can post your question. When you post it, you have an option here to kind of categorize what it pertains to, and that can just help searching later, and then you can post your question. You do have the opportunity to post anonymously to your peers, but the instructors will see who is posting, and that's just helpful, especially if it's a question that seems specific to a course meeting. A big nice feature of this is that the students can respond to one another, and that's a feature I really like. I think that's a great way to learn if you're trying to attempt to answer somebody's questions. And we've seen students give really, really nice explanations, and the instructors will always kind of weigh in. So if a student gives a nice response, we can simply just say good answer, so you can see that it's been approved in some sense. But also the instructors can weigh in and answer questions collectively. So we will do our best to answer those quickly. And instead of email, this is a nice forum for this because many people often have the same questions, and it's really useful for them to see the response as a whole. And like I said, it's nice to allow for the possibility of students to answer one another. So I hope that you'll use that. It usually takes a little while to get started, and then it can be, like I said, very useful. You can adjust your settings to reflect how often you want to get an email. You can get an email in real time every time something's posted. You can set it up to kind of give you an email every couple of hours about activity. So keep that in mind about just your own interest with that. And then the other website I have on here is GradeScope. That one, it's not as useful for me to necessarily go through and show you what it looks like. I will add everyone to that as well, so you'll get an email about kind of setting that up. GradeScope is going to be where you submit everything that we're going to grade in this course. So part of the first problem set is going to be getting used to submission, so I understand that can be a little bit tough, but once you've done it once, it seems to be pretty seamless. In particular, what's going to be nice about that is for submitting things like the problem sets and the discussion worksheets, you simply need to either have a PDF or an image of your work. And so a lot of students simply take pictures with their phones, and the quality seems to be pretty good with that. If you have a PDF scanner app, then that can work as well. And once you upload it, you simply need to identify where is the answer to question 1, where is the answer to question 2, and so on. And upload it, and then the graders can go through that, and you'll receive the feedback through that website. And you'll also see rubric items, comments, and it's all going to be housed in that one place. The lecture quizzes are also going to be on there. You won't have to upload anything for that. I will make those within the GradeScope site, and you just have to enter your answer in electronically. But once again, that feedback will be housed in there. So you'll have all of your grades in one spot. Just a few more things that I want to mention about the course. The Zoom links are, again, going to be different for the different discussion sections. Soon, you should get an email from your individual instructor telling you exactly what the Zoom link will be for your course. And we'll end up kind of probably posting those on Sakai or some other secure place. But for the first meeting, you should expect an email. And you'll always go to that Zoom site for your own individual discussion section. And then also, I'll be posting the information about our virtual help room. We typically have a physical help room that gets used a lot, and we've moved that online. And so for the help room, that's going to be open, I think, Sunday through Thursday. And you'll see that it has many hours. And essentially, that's going to be staffed by people associated to a single variable calculus course. You can drop in there at your own convenience, and there should always be at least one, more often 2 or 3 people in there that are there to answer questions. And so you can go and you can ask for help on a problem set, or you can come in and ask for somebody to explain a concept to you. So that's a nice feature that everybody has really busy schedules, and you can go in there when it's convenient for you. And you'll also notice the instructors have hours in there. So when I share the help room schedule, you can also look for your instructor or your TA, but you can go and get help from anyone. So that's going to be a really useful resource. And I'll also mention that I intend to have lots of office hours. So I'm still scheduling those, but I will post those. I'll have some that are set for every week, but I also might throw in some extras based off of my schedule as we go along. And I really hope that you will take advantage of that and come to ask me questions. One of my favorite parts about teaching is interacting with the students. And so having this virtual teaching, it's going to be a little hard, especially since I'm not even leading the discussion sections. You're going to be listening to my videos. I will visit the discussion sections to try to get to meet and get to know a lot of you. But really, the office hours are going to be the best time for that. I love getting to know students in office hours anyways, and it can be really nice just to be able to talk. Of course, I can answer all of your questions, and I will try to be as available as possible so that nobody needs help and feels like they can't get any. So do keep that in mind, and office hours are great. A lot of the best students come to office hours all the time, so don't have a stigma associated to that. So look out for those. I'll be posting those, and I really hope a lot of people will come to see me. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up my overview of the course. You're going to be able to talk a little bit about it with your own instructor on the first day, but if anything's unclear, don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. You can either do that in email or use Piazza, and we'll get back to you. All right.